Let me make it plain like this. You said at the last part of that would God bring the right person at the wrong time? Only God knows the right time, but let me help you analyze to see if it's your time. If you're not content with your singleness, God will not bring someone for you to mingle with. If you're not at a place of purpose and thriving in it, multiplying in it, and I'm not saying you have to make millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm talking about you are content in God's presence and you're content in operating at a high level in your purpose, I doubt that God will bring that person. Why? Because those are the two most important things that must be installed, updated, and not able to be moved out of one's life. If those things are not solid, then this individual will be a distraction. The thing is, whatever you feel, you got to make sure that you filter what you feel. Many of us, we just feel and we think it's God. I remember this when I was a young man and I was introduced to this emotionalization of the emotional aspect of the gospel, that everything was about feeling and everybody was shouting, everybody was screaming, and it gave the illusion that the Holy Ghost, oh, that was the quickening of the Holy Ghost, or the Holy Ghost is moving, or the Holy Ghost is moving when the organ is playing. And there was moments where I felt the Holy Ghost, I thought, and I felt goosebumps. I'm not saying you're not going to feel the presence of God at times, but I remember being in a buffet line, and I had the same chills, the same goosebumps. I said, "Is this God, or is this the chicken that I'm about to put on my plate?" What I was saying was, as I got older in my walk with God, I began to learn how to filter my feelings to make sure that I'm just not feeling from a place of loneliness, feeling from a place of false hope, but that I'm feeling from a place of contentment, that I'm discerning from a place of contentment, that I'm not coming from a place of hope, coming from a place of loneliness. So you have to assess on a scale of 1 to 10 where you and God are. How are you and God? How is your relationship with God? Number 2, I want you to assess on a scale of 1 to 10. How content are you with your singleness? Also, number 3, I want you on a scale of 1 to 10 to determine how operative or how you are operating within your purpose right now. Why? Because if you have been thinking about him since the potluck, or you have been thinking about him since you bumped into him on aisle 6, then my friend, that may be someone that has nothing to do. Now, don't get me wrong. When you meet that person that God has for you, you're going to be excited. But you're going to have a disposition about you that will filter that excitement to make sure you don't lean into idolatry, that you don't lean away from your posts, right? So you got to think through those things to make sure. Yes, will God reveal you the one? Of course, but he will never reveal that person at the wrong time. So when you go through those activities and you go through those different things, then you'll begin to see where you are to determine who this person is. The thing you must do right now is after you do those assessments, you then got to get to a place where you say, I'm going to put this guy on a shelf. I'm going to filter my emotions. I'm going to trust God with this. And I want you to get my book, Counterfeit or Counterpart. That book right there will go deep in how to test and discern to help you better understand whether or not this person is the one or not. Because there's going to be a lot of correlations that don't got nothing to do with God's confirmation. There's a difference between correlations and confirmation. Things are going to correlate sometimes. There's going to be people you're compatible with sometimes, but that doesn't necessarily always mean that that's God's confirmation or that's who God has for you. So if you have a 10 or high eights, if you have an 8 to 10 in each of those categories, then it could be that that's the one for you. But if you honestly can say, hey, me and God are not as solid as we could be, I am not content with my singleness. I am not immersed in my purpose. And I've been out here searching through loneliness. I'm not content. And my friend, that could just been a person that just went by your way, but was not sent your way by God. Hope that helped.